It's official. MXPX has a new song out. It's called 100. If you haven't checked it out, well, what are you waiting for? Pause this. Go add it to your music library. 100. We have a 7-inch on MXPX.com. 2 variants. That's binary blue and JavaScript black spatter. So check it out. This is a split 7-inch with direct hit. Their song is called 110. Our song is called 100. We collabed. I co-wrote the song with Nick. I took his 110 part, and then I just wrote a whole song about it. It was fun. It was such a fun little project to do. Something different, something fun, something cool. The subject matter I thought was really fun because I was just inspired by the numbers, really. I just took the numbers, made a whole story about it. And I'm loving this blue spatter. Very cool. All right, so that's it. The cover art is so good. I love it. I really love it. It just looks so good coming off of the screen when I'm looking at it. So thank you guys for your support. Thanks for loving the song. I appreciate you guys. We all do. We worked really hard on, we always work hard on everything we do, right? So we appreciate that. MXPX.com. We have t-shirts. We have vinyl while supplies last. I think there was 1,000 pressed total-ish, somewhere, something like that. So shout out to Direct Hit. Make sure you guys go check out their song 110. You can hear both. You can see, maybe like see where I got inspired to write my own version of their song. So so that's it. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into some voicemails. Some people asked some questions. We're going to start off with Bobby.
Hey, this is Bobby Klein and his son Addison. Addison is a super fan. Literally right now, he's wearing a MXPX t-shirt and an MXPX hoodie. So
awesome.
We're really into it. I showed him you guys like probably 4 years ago, and he's learning all the songs on guitar and on bass. Same way I learned the songs on guitar and bass when I was a kid. Hey, when I was in 5th grade, 1995, you guys came out with an album, Life in General, still my favorite punk album of all time, and it's been 30 years. Would you consider doing a front-to-back tour? It could be a mini tour, it's all good, as long as you get down to San Diego. Maybe if you're in like Orange County, we'll drive up there, or if you're in Vegas or something, we'll drive out there, or we'll probably fly somewhere to see that. I would not miss that for the world. So consider it, and let us know on the podcast if that's something that you guys are thinking about doing. Thanks. Later.
Thanks for the call, Bobby. Shout out Addison. What's up? How you doing? Thanks for repping MXPX. We love it. I would love to meet you someday. Now, your question about a tour, would we do a tour, a full tour? Do you mean just a full tour, or do you mean a full tour of us playing Life in General front to back? I wasn't quite sure exactly what your question was, but I got full tour out of that. And yeah, I think we're kind of edging towards that. We've been thinking about it. I think someday we're like, yeah, someday we'll do a full tour. You know, when the schedule's kind of realigned. I mean, there's no perfect time in life, really. You kind of have to take the bull by the horns and steer it where you need it to go, right? So, to answer your question, yes, that's something we're thinking about. We haven't announced anything yet, so it might be a while, but you will see us down in San Diego. You will see us in Orange County or LA or somewhere down there where you can just hop over. That's definitely going to happen. And I appreciate you being willing to fly out, because we do shows all over. So very cool. Love that you still love Life in General. You still love punk rock. 5th grade though, I'm trying to think, what was I into in 5th grade? Beastie Boys, Licensed to Ill, definitely loved that. Like, probably some like hip hop, like, I can't remember the name of the song. It takes two to make a thing go right. Whatever that is. Like, I remember they were probably just hit songs at the time. And as I was kind of like starting to hear music and understand what it is, you know, I've mentioned this before, but like the first song I ever really remember hearing and singing is Willie Nelson's On the Road Again. On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. I think it inspired me to become a touring musician, a traveling musician, and go all over the place and entertain and meet people, and it's been amazing. So I don't know. I'm trying to think, what else was I into in 5th grade? Was I into punk rock in 5th grade? I kind of liked Suicidal Tendencies, just because it was like the name of the band was so cool, the way they sounded, the way they looked. I didn't really see a picture of them, but I kind of, you kind of get the idea of, like, you see some video or like a music video, and it's a live show, so you're like, that is awesome. So I was into skateboarding, and when you skateboard, you got to listen to skateboarding music. That led me to Suicidal Tendencies, other bands like that, which eventually led me to actually listening to punk rock, Descendants, Black Flag, NoFX, Rancid, Op Ivy. Yeah, so a lot of local a lot of local stuff too. Bad Juju here in Bremerton, Silverdale really, but Bremerton/Silverdale area. The bands that didn't even make it really, I listened to back in those days. Heffa was one of my favorites. Not in 5th grade. This is much later. I was already in MXPX at this time, but listening to Heffa was a local band in Bremerton that were amazing. And I think the singer ended up being the singer of Visqueen. So she started Visqueen, and her name's Rachel. And she also plays for, she plays for somebody like the New Bohemians or something like that. As a musician, but she's the main person for Visqueen, and her band before that was called Heffa. A lot of local Bremerton musicians that I admire greatly were part of Heffa. So they never really made it, but they had great songs, and I heard like their album that never came out. As far as I know, it never came out. Cool stuff. I'm inspired by that stuff too. So I appreciate your call. I went into my mind a little bit down memory lane, but good times. The Gits were great, and they weren't from Bremerton, but they were a Seattle punk/grunge band that really, really were something special. They had something special about them, and their career was cut a bit short. That's another story for another time, though. Let's get into the next episode, the next voicemail.
Hey Mike, it's Jake from Adelaide, Australia again. This is a 2-part one, so you might need to pause it. But the first part...
Okay, I think I have these in the wrong order. Here we go. Jake's got a 2-part question here. Here's the first part.
Hey Mike, it's Jake from Adelaide in Australia. I just wanted to know logistically how hard it is for MXPX to tour Australia, and if you can share some stories about some of the first times you came to Australia and some of the last times you came to Australia, and when you think you'll be back in Australia. And yeah, just the ins and outs of what it takes for MXPX to actually tour Australia. Thanks so much, man. See you, Mike.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thanks for the call. And I'll get to your second part, or your next call after that. Adelaide. I love Adelaide. We love Adelaide. We've spent a lot of time in Adelaide. We've played there many times. We will be back. I know a lot of people have been asking, when are you coming to Australia? When are you coming to Australia? You said you were coming. We are coming, but we had the thing we were working on didn't work out. Like, we were supposed to come with Screeching Weasel. They canceled their tour. We tried to still come, and we're like, hey, Screeching Weasel can't come, but we'll take over and we'll just rebuild these shows and let us do it. And they're like, no. So pretty much the promoters are the problem. I'm just going to go out there and say it. We haven't people don't believe in MXPX in Australia. So we may have to come there all on our own. So when you're asking how hard is it to come to Australia, no one wants to bring us. We're trying, but no one wants to bring us unless we do it for free. You know what I mean? So like, we can't do that. We have to pay our whole crew. We have to pay everybody to do this. I mean, even if I was going to do it for free, which I'm willing to, I got to pay a bunch of people. So it is kind of important. So I think at some point we're going to just try to find a new partner over there, or we're just going to do it ourselves and figure it out. And it's going to be a big investment, a big gamble. So any support, obviously, we always appreciate. Now, the last time we were in Australia was I want to say it was with MXPX All Stars. It was a while back, and we were supposed to be heading out on this tour, and I got a call 2 days ahead that Tommy Ratt, our sound guy and tour manager and booking agent, he did everything, managing, booking agent, sound guy, tour manager, has all the information, all of the decisions have been made by him, and he gets in a car accident and is in a coma for like weeks. So we ended up, he wasn't dead, but we're like, he might die. And we had a decision to make. Do you want to continue with this tour? It's all planned out. It's all ready to go, but you just won't have your guy, or cancel. And so we decided to do it. You know, we're like, this is going to be hard, but we're going to do it. So we had every show, we had to show up and find a new sound guy. And then me and Joel were like tour managing. I don't know how to tour manage. Joel was better at it at the time. He was our crew and All Stars guitar player. And we just made it happen, you know, because, you know, what do? You keep going, you move through it. You have an obstacle, you go through it. Boom. And that's what we did. But Tommy Ratt wasn't there to do sound, so we had to get a new sound guy every night that doesn't know what we sound like and doesn't have the you know, the details of what we want to sound like. And there's no lighting, there's nobody to tell the lighting guy when to do the cues, and there's nobody to go and do all the tour managing stuff and the advancing and the travel and all that. So we're just like literally on our own. Some of our local Australian production people definitely stepped up and helped. So there was a couple guys and girls and gals that really helped. And I'm spacing, I can't remember names. I hadn't really thought about this in a long time, but I can picture one guy in my head. He's been on so many of our tours. He was on Soundwave Festival as a crew guy. Like this guy has been around, so he's a good guy. Anyway, that was the last time we were in Australia. The first time we came to Australia was with No Fun at All. We supported No Fun at All. It was, I want to say it was like a 14-day tour. And we played all the cities. We played everywhere, all the major cities. We played and ended in Perth, I think. I just remember being in Fremantle in Perth, having a nice meal on the boardwalk. The ocean's right there. And Fremantle is kind of like it's where people would go out to eat, go out to do nightlife in Perth. At least it was. I don't know if it still is 20 years later, but the very first time we went to Australia, we just were having dinner at this really nice restaurant outdoors on the sidewalk, and it took like 2 hours to get our food, and we're just like, whoa, it's a little different here. People aren't really in a rush to get you your food, and then that's also when we found out that there's no tipping, so you don't tip them, and if you don't tip them, you can't really like, hey, can you help me out? Like, here's a tip. No, it was just like, whatever. So I think things have changed a little bit. You can kind of tip these days maybe, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But we love Australia. We love all the cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, of course, Brisbane, Surfer's Paradise. We played so many little places. And we can't wait to come back. We definitely want to come back. And we had that tour. We've had a couple tours, honestly, because that have gotten canceled. So one was the Screeching Weasel tour. We were going to do that. Then we had another tour set up, ready to be announced, ready to go. I had filmed the promo for it. We had Yuri come in and do something. And then that's when the pandemic was kind of going on. This was 2020. We were about to do our last shows. We did our last shows, which was, I want to say it was like Denver and San Antonio. San Antonio was the last show. We have a live album that we recorded from that night called Southbound to San Antonio. And after that, we were going to announce Australia. And then it was like, no, the whole world shut down. And so just after that happened, there hasn't been an easy path for us to get back to Australia. We've tried 3-4 times, and we're still trying. That's literally as honest and transparent as I can be about it. So if you know somebody that is, one, infinitely wealthy and wants to invest in us doing a tour, or just as a promoter and is really good and doesn't have their head up their ass, get a hold of us. Let's do it. But yeah, there's not much more I can say. I just can keep blabbing on about it. But we'd love to come back. And I don't want to like gripe or anything. It's just the world shut down. We could not go over there, and it's been a little different. Like even Japan, we've been back. I want to say, I don't know if we've been back to Japan since the pandemic either. It's been a really long time, and that's another place we really want to get back to. I think things are starting to be a little bit more normal over there, but you got to remember with Australia, and correct me if I'm wrong, with Australia, all of their regular shows started dying down 10 plus years ago when Soundwave was a big thing, or maybe it was over 10 years ago, but it was Soundwave Festival was literally the only thing going around. There was like, probably a few other festivals, Big Day Out Fest, like pop fests and stuff. There's a lot of festivals in Australia, so it's not the only one. But as far as punk bands and touring bands from our scene going over there, every band was going over there to play Soundwave. And when Soundwave was big, nobody else did any other shows. You would only go for Soundwave, and so therefore no tours. And sure, there would be like a side show here and there in Melbourne or there, and that's cool, that's great. But it's still Soundwave. It's part of Soundwave, and that's why these bands were able to come and tour. Now that Soundwave is gone, it's almost like there's a vacuum. There's no promoter to bring bands, and if there is, they're not good. The promoter probably not that good, or maybe they don't believe in us. Maybe we're not that good. I don't know, but it's just there's something going on where you guys need to build up something with live music. I mean, I know you do live music with the locals. There's a lot of local bands that do well over there, but it is probably just cost prohibitive for a lot of U.S. bands, bands from North America, Europe. Even is probably really expensive to travel over to Australia, but you might get bands from Southeast Asia because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump over. But think about the cost and the travel time and the fact that everything is astronomically more expensive. So we might get paid the same amount there, but it costs 3 times as much. I'm not even exaggerating. 3 times as much to tour now. 3 times as much as it did 3 years ago. And those prices are just never going to go back. They're always going to keep going up. Now, does that mean we'll never no, well, that's what we do. We play shows. We'll figure it out eventually. But thanks for your patience on that. All right, let's get to your next part. I think I answered that way too good.
Hey, Mike, it's Jake from Adelaide, Australia again. This is a 2-part one, so you might need to pause it. But the first part was gear endorsements. So obviously your band's equipment and stuff. I know you're with Ernie Ball, but are there any brands that you were endorsed with or weren't, or and the other members in relation to guitar brands and that sort of thing? Do they have any artist deals that you're able to talk about? And the second part of the question is in relation to your podcast. Obviously,
okay, I'll pause there. Endorsements. Yeah, we have Ernie Ball. My bass is my signature series bass. You can get it on ernieball.com right here anytime. I have that. We're endorsed by them for all the gear, all the strings. We're also endorsed by Keeley Electronics. They do pedals, guitar pedals, bass pedals, really cool stuff. Converse. We used to be endorsed by Converse way back in the day, in the early Warped Tours day, late 90s. And it was because the guy that actually books like Newfound Glory and Less Than Jake, a bunch of bands now, he's booked bands for a long time now, but he used to be the rep for Converse, and he would like bring us shoes. So he's the shoe guy. And so like, it's funny, like the shoe guy, he always kind of had, he's a great guy, but he always had this like scowl, like, are you mad at me? He always seems mad, but he's just, that's his personality. Kind of like how people think I'm mad all the time. Do they think that? I don't know. Anyway, he used to bring us Converse, and that's kind of how he got into the business and got all these relationships with bands. And I think he books like Say Anything, and he books a bunch of bands, but he's a character for sure. But he's our shoe guy. So he hooked us up with Converse, and he will always be the shoe guy. A great shoe guy, by the way, a great shoe guy. Vans, after Converse, we moved over and got sponsored by Vans. Technically, we're still endorsed by Vans. I don't really call them on a day-to-day basis or almost ever, really. But we do technically have a deal with Vans. It's not exclusive, but it's a thing. We did a commercial for them back on Warped Tour, and they're like, all right, you could get paid for this ad, or we will give you free Vans for life. And we're like, feels like free Vans for life would be cooler, right? Like, and so we just, instead of, I don't know how much they were going to pay us, thousands of dollars, but we got free Vans for life. Now, I have been paying for my Vans for years. I still buy them myself. And that's just because I just haven't really pushed hard to go get my endorsement back. But someday, mark my words, someday I will try. And we'll see what happens. I'll let you know. I actually have tried, but I just haven't tried hard. Because really, endorsements are all about relationships. And if you don't have a relationship with your endorsee or endorsement company, it's weird to ask them for free things. So I want to be like helpful to a company when I ask them for free things, even though it's just part of the deal. Like I already did the things, for them. I already was helpful for them, but that's just the way it is. You want to have some sort of rapport with your people. So I'm endorsed by Takamine Guitars. They're a Japanese company, but I'm endorsed by the American side of things. Like that's who I talk to. They're in Nashville. If I need anything, I'll email or call that my guy there. And you got to be tricky. You got to be careful because it gets tricky. Some of the people get fired from one company, or the company gets bought out by a bigger company. So there's these big conglomerate companies that buy the actual music brands here and there, and they'll sell. Like Fender owns a bunch of stuff, but Fender's all also owned by a bigger company. So yeah, honestly, I don't have any complaints on the music instrument side of the business. I haven't seen too much craziness. It's been just pretty basic business stuff. But maybe I just haven't had the chance to get ripped off yet. I don't know. But I work with companies that I really like. Ernie Ball are like family to me. Takamine's great. I wouldn't say they're like family to me because I don't know them that well, but they've treated me so good. So, and I don't ask them for a lot. And that's another key thing is if you're really asking for a lot, you got to give them a lot. So, I'm endorsed by a bunch of, clothing companies, of course, hot sauce companies. Those aren't official endorsements. Those are just, hey, have some swag, wear our stuff, helps us out. You get free stuff because of it, all good. And with the hot sauce stuff, I just love hot sauce so much. The fact that they give it to me for free is why I, post about it or tell people about it. But really, I just love hot sauce. I'm just obsessed with hot sauce. I like products that have, usefulness. You can use it, and then you need another thing exactly like that and use that again. So hot sauce is like that for me. Any kind of cooking kind of stuff is kind of fun. All right, let's get to your next part.
Early days, there were a lot of guests and a lot of, obviously, friends of yours from the music industry and some people you didn't know. Is there a reason why you've steered away from that more now and had less guests, or is it just harder to get guests? Obviously, with so many podcasts being around now at the moment. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, great question. Okay, so because the question was kind of a two-part thing, you might have missed it. He's asking about the podcast, and traditionally I've started having always guests, and then the last couple of years, really 2 years maybe, I've started having more podcasts like this, voicemails, answering questions, talking, not as much guests. Sometimes I'll still have a guest. Lately, honestly, it's just been because I've been too busy, and it's not hard to get guests. People constantly call me and text me, text. They text me and be like, hey, let's do the podcast. I'll be like, yeah, a couple weeks, I'll get back to you. And it's not because I don't want to do it. It's because my schedule is effed and my brain is addled. So, so I do these because I can do these on a whim. I really can. I get my voicemails. I start recording, boom. I don't have to schedule with anybody. I don't have to do it. So it is out of convenience. So I'm going to have lag on. But I just need to figure out how to do this voice call thing again because I've been in Texas and I've just been doing these podcast episodes just by myself. Now that I'm back here, okay, maybe I should get back into having some guests. Sure. But Skype shut down. Skype doesn't exist anymore. I haven't actually tried it, but I've read the press release that Microsoft released saying that Skype is no longer. We're shutting it down. And I'm like, all right, well, you got murdered when the pandemic happened and Zoom came in and took all your business and you guys just sat on your ass and did nothing. And it was just like, all right, fine. I don't like Microsoft. I think they're terrible, but I liked Skype because it let me record the call on a third-party recording software app. And I liked that because I could take that, I could record it in different ways. Separate. I'm sure there's other programs that do this, but I liked my setup, and I don't have that setup anymore. And sure, maybe I'll go to Zoom. I don't like Zoom. Yeah, it's really just because of my scheduling and because of technology changes. And all of a sudden, you know how people don't believe in the moon landing? I don't know whether or not it happened or not. Like I'm kind of one of those things where I assumed it happened, but I never really thought about it. And then there are all these conspiracy theories about is the moon landing real? Did that actually happen? And you know, you got like Stanley Kubrick admitting, or at least on a tape, that he admitted that he filmed the moon landing for a promo. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but like, how are you going to film in space when they don't have the technology for it? So even if it did happen, I don't think they would have the proper filming of the thing happening. Like, just like you don't have film of me doing every single thing around here in the studio, you just all of a sudden see me on a camera and I'm here, I'm in the studio, boom. So I don't know. I don't really know what's true or not, but I wonder, call in, tell me, did we really go to the moon or is it a hoax? And I want to know why you think what you think. And I've said this in the past, we're all susceptible to being influenced in negative ways and positive ways, propagandized. Like I said, I can find myself thinking one way and then realize, oh, I've been listening to this person say that over and over, and now I'm starting to think that, but it's because of this. But do I really think that? So you gotta really take a second and lay it all out for yourself. But the podcast, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Let's get to the next one.
Hey, Mike, this is Rich. I was wondering if you were going to release any of that live footage that you guys did for the Find a Way Home tour. As well, I wanted to ask if you thought about doing maybe a deluxe edition of Find a Way Home and putting some acoustics on there. All right. Anyways, have a good day, bro. Thanks.
Thanks, Rich. All right. Great questions. Live footage from the tours. I mean, we have released it, but I think you mean, are we going to release like a live album video thing? No, we don't really have the footage you think we have. We have a lot of footage, but it's mostly this clip and this clip and this clip, and everything else just isn't up to par, right? So, and the audio, sure, I guess we could probably take our audio and really mix it but how it gets done right now is like really on the fly, really fast. Already takes too long, but and it's not necessarily amazing, but it's pretty good. I just don't see that happening. Maybe someday. Maybe so. Nothing's always off the table, but deluxe edition, no. There's no reason for a deluxe edition for Find a Way Home. I think it's only going to make the album worse. I think we just kind of realized when you put out an album, that's the album. And that's what people really get into. And anything else is not part of that album, even if it says it's deluxe. Like, it's not, it's a money grab. It's like an extra thing. So we just rather honestly create new things. We just want to create. We want to be creative. We want to release new songs. We want to release new albums. We want to release new artwork. And going backwards to a deluxe edition, it really is a money grab, and it's a, yeah, I don't know. So I don't think we're going to do it. I think we didn't like the last time we did it. with self-titled. We didn't like what it did to the algorithms, what it did to certain song listening, and it just takes focus off certain things. And yeah, I think if we did anything acoustic-wise with some of these songs, sure, but it's not going to be the deluxe edition. It's just going to be here's some songs. These are acoustic. We'll call it something, I'm sure, but it's going to be always better. We're always going to do something better. Yeah, we appreciate you, and I know you want that deluxe edition, but how about we just do something new? Like we just put out this new song, 100, and this could have been on the record, or whatever, but no. I think it's its own thing. It sounds different enough to all our other songs to where it kind of became its own thing. So I think we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to come up with ideas and be creative, and it doesn't mean we won't have a deluxe edition of something in the future, but I just feel like we tried it on self-titled, didn't like it, so that's why we didn't do it on Find a Way Home. And for the next album, who knows? I don't know. I kind of feel like the same way. I feel like we'll just probably keep releasing a couple songs here and there. Like we did. We've released a song pretty much every year, except 2023. We didn't release a single, but we released Find a Way Home. So I think it was from self-titled 2018, and then 2019 I think it was the deluxe edition, but also we posted some cover songs. There's Unstoppable, there's San Dimas, there's Salt Lake City, there's I think there's one more, Franco and American. So there's a bunch of cover songs we released in like 2019 and 2020. And then I think Worries came out in 2020. And then in 21, we released another single. What was it? I don't know. You guys probably know. I don't know. So we've released, and then 22, we released another single. I think that was Can't Keep Waiting. And then 2023 was the new album, Find a Way Home. And then 2024, we released Set a Fire. 2025, we've released 100. We'll see what else happens, but yeah, it's been cool. We've released multiple singles every year, if not one single, multiple singles. And so I feel like we've been kind of doing a lot, and it's hard to catch your breath, and like there's no downtime. Like I've mentioned this before, but honestly, songwriting is the most chill time I've ever had, and that's all gone. Like I know I'm not done writing this record, but I'm like in this in-between part where I got to do all this promo, and I got to do some shows. We got Goldfinger coming, we got the new 100's out, so we're gonna play that. So like I'm kind of taking a pause on new songs right now. Because the new album isn't ready. It's not even close. Like I haven't even written the songs. So a couple maybe, but yeah, I'm sure usually the first couple songs I write for an album don't make the album. Those end up being singles, like 100 or Can't Keep Waiting. Can't Keep Waiting, honestly, was probably my favorite song out of all the singles we've done. Can't Keep Waiting is just like the perfect song for me. For me personally, it's the perfect song because it's fast, but it's also got this sort of slow thing at the end with this cool bass line. The guitars go around it, and I just love that. I just feel like it was cool. But it's not for everybody because it's got this weird sort of ending. But honestly, I would have gambled and made that like a single if it was on an album, But alas, it's a single. It's not on an album. All right. Thanks for everything you do, Rich. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Let's get to one last call.
Hey, Mike, this is Thaddeus. I and a group of friends are floating down the Itchitucknee River tomorrow. I love floating in the North Florida Springs. It's so much fun. Have you ever done that? As a songwriting nerd, I have one more question. How has your songwriting process changed from when you were younger to now? Do you write songs in a different way? Do you think about how you used to write songs and wonder how you used to do it the old way?
Right.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thaddeus, thanks for the call. You sound like a cartoon character, like Gumball or something. Not Gumball himself, but my kids have been watching Gumball a lot. I have not, but I love it. I've done an inner tube float. It's been a while. I've done it a few times. I've only really done one real river, and then I think most of the other times I've been in a water park where you can do the lazy river. That probably doesn't count for you, so we'll stick with yes. I have done a river inner tube kind of float. Fun, great. I don't know. I'm sure I could do it nowadays. I'd have to have the right mindset to just be like, okay, no work today, no phones, no text, just relax, enjoy, put on some MXPX in the background. Of course, now. North Forest Springs. I don't even know where that is, but sounds like it could be Florida. All right, Thaddeus, song process. Do I ever wonder, how did I used to write songs and why can't I write those songs like that anymore? A lot has changed. Let me just tell you what's changed. I started writing songs on a notepad, so I'd write the lyrics. I don't even know if I'd write the chords down or what or how I remembered these parts, but I would, on a cassette tape, I would record the song with my acoustic and my voice. And I'm talking, this is pre-MXPX. I wasn't even in the band yet. I wouldn't start the band yet. Just in my sister's bedroom because she had a cassette deck. I didn't. And so I would record onto her cassette deck, and then I would put that tape onto a boombox, play another part to it, also recording to my sister's cassette deck. And that's how I did little demos. I had like a full album's worth of demos that I lost before MXPX was even a band. And I'm sure those songs are terrible. It's no real loss. It's just kind of a bummer because I'd like to laugh at myself for a little bit. Most of the songs were two chord notes or two chord songs, you know. That's a song. So I don't do that anymore. Nowadays when I write, I have ideas in my phone. So I'll be on my phone. I'll be like, idea. I've got an idea notepad. Song idea is the date. Boom, boom, boom. So I can just go through, find a song title. Oh, I want to write that, and I'll just write the song title down. Actually, I'll usually copy paste that into a new note and then start writing the song. And I'll write the lyrics on my phone. And then when I want to do the music and stuff, I'll go to voice memos and I'll record it into my voice memos, and I'll be like, Jack from Adelaide, what you doing here? You know, whatever it is, right? And then that becomes the idea of the song. And then if I get a decent idea, that goes into its own folder. So I'll have starters on my voice memo, starters in a folder. And then when I pick a song to work on, I'll take it out of the starters, put it in its own folder called, you know, Adelaide Calling or something. And then I start recording into that folder, all my ideas for the song, and it just starts reiterating, Adelaide, 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 Schmadelaide, whatever it is, right? Politics, schmaltics. And eventually, I just work my way through the ideas, write more lyrics, fix stuff. And in the mornings, a lot of times when I don't have my guitar, I'll come the next day and I'll grab the song and I'll listen to the ideas and I'll look at it and I'll be like, let's fix that lyric, and I'll just fix that. I'll just say things better or say things more the way I wanted to say them, tweaking lyrics, changing up lyrics. I'll be like, oh, I want to fix that. I want to change that, say something better there. And then I get back on the guitar, record more. Jake from Adelaide. And then, I think I got a song. I'm good. And then I'll leave that. And then I'll be thinking about it throughout the day, and I might be like, I'll listen to it. I'll be like, that part I could do this differently, and I'll just change it. And so I think the difference in me songwriting isn't the fact that I'm now using digital voice memos and notes. It doesn't change that much with digital notes. It's just maybe it's a little faster because you can record something and listen back. Whereas before you had to write it down, it takes a while to write, and then you don't know what the melody is from writing the words down. You have to remember the melody as well. So it is a little easier, I think, on our brains now that everybody's so in a million places online and scrolling, and attention span's low. It's a big difference, but I think really the main difference in my songwriting is the fact that I reiterate more than I ever have. And what I mean by that is, what I used to do is write a song, boom, that's the song, done. No reiterating, no changing parts, no changing melodies, no tweaking lyrics. That was it. And so now what I do is I think a little bit more about it, and I go, is that what I'm actually trying to say? Okay, it's done. And so just that amount of reiterating is so important for me, because later on when I hear the song, I'm not as like, oh, I should have changed that, or I feel good because I know that I did the work. So I'm like, yep, I did the work. I know that I explored that idea, and that's exactly what I came up with, what I ended up with, and what I'm happy with. And I know deep down in my gut if something's not right. And so like when I listen to, say, 100, there's nothing in this song that I'm like, I should have said it this way. It didn't quite come out the way I meant it. Like, no, like this is the way I meant it, done. So I think that's the difference, is I really reiterate a lot more on the ideas, and I rewrite the ideas if needed. Not everything. There's maybe one every 4 songs that I really have to like go through and rewrite a bunch of stuff and fix, because I've got. And why would I do that? Because you have a part that is just so good. You're just like, this part, this is the song. This is why the song exists, this part. Now we need to make every other part complement that and be worthy of being next to that part, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm coming up with the best ideas I can. That's the initial hook of the song. And then I'm trying to build around that hook. That's how I'm writing songs these days. I hope that helped. It helps me. It really does. I appreciate you guys. Please check out MXPX.com. We've got t-shirts and vinyl, the new 7-inch binary blue, JavaScript black, and don't forget to check out Direct Hits version 110. The songs are totally different from each other, except for their bridge is our chorus. So it's fun. It's cool. So they have a connection. It's definitely a collab. So shout out to Direct Hit. Good guys. And I think that's it. Appreciate you. Shout out to Bob McKnight, producing, doing what he does, being a general positive force in the world and in nature. We love it, and we love you. All right, peace.